Alright guys, West Ham have just beaten Bournemouth by 2-0 in a game where I think there was a couple of controversial decisions which were involved in both of West Ham's goals. Both came in stoppage time, I think, of both halves. The first one, we'll just go through both the goals first. Kurt Zuma's, it was actually quite a good header from Zuma. A really instinctive finish, but it came from a corner being whipped in. Kehrer he's not expecting it to come to him, but it does hit his hands, probably both of them, both arms, and he does move his arms a little bit towards the ball because that's if anyone who's played football knows that if the ball hits your body and it's a part of your body that is like got a bit of cushioning to it. So like if it hits your head, it'll bounce off, right? But if it hits your arm, the ball will just literally hit your arm and then it'll go forwards a bit, but it will not bounce it up in the air the way it did unless you put a bit of power back into it. So clearly he's expecting it to hit it and he's tried to keep it in play. So for me, this goal should have been disallowed. It gets headed back and then Souček heads it back towards goal and Zuma gets a really nice flick on to get it into the net. But for me, it shouldn't have stood because I think Kehrer sort of knows what he's doing. He's done quite well to disguise it, but I think the VAR should have... They should have realised like how the ball would bounce off that part of your body. If I'm being honest, and the penalty right at the end, I just think what can Jordan Zamora do? The ball's been crossed in, and it's about a metre away from him when the ball's crossed. He's dived in to just try and block the cross, and it's natural. It's a natural position. You cannot dive in like a pencil like this. You cannot do that. You have to. To get there quickly, it's just natural. Your left arm, the arm going away from the body, comes up into the air a little bit. Now, if it hits his arm and it was a shot on goal or something like that and it's a metre away, fair enough, those are the rules. But it's so close distance and there's absolutely nothing he can do. It's not a shot on goal. The consistency of it all as well is really confusing to me because in the Liverpool-Arsenal game, Diogo Jota and Gabriel or William Saliba, I think it was, very similar situation, but that's not a penalty, and I don't think it should have been. And yeah, it's different rules for every single game for some reason. For me, that's not a penalty because if there's nothing the defender can do about it and it's not blocking a goal, or a shot on target, or a shot, then why on earth is it a penalty? Like it's almost like referees now, or like the rules are just forgetting what the word penalty means in life. Penalty means the price you pay for doing something wrong. Well, what else can you do in that situation? It's ridiculous. But Benrahma took the penalty and he took it well, hammered it into the left-hand side of the goal. And Benrahma, to be fair, that capped off a really good performance. He probably did deserve the man of the match award. He was involved in most things that West Ham did well throughout the game. It wasn't a game that was filled with quality, to be completely honest. Bournemouth, other than a goal line scramble they had early on in the game where Fabianski did quite well to stop it from going in. They didn't do a lot with the ball in the first half. In fact, it took them about until the hour mark to start having a go. They made a couple of substitutions, changed a few things, bringing Zamora and Anthony on, and that changed the system a little bit, and they just looked a bit more threatening. They were forced into a couple of substitutions due to injuries to Neto in goal and Dominic Solanke, and had to bring on Kiefer Moore. So if they'd have managed to keep Dominic Solanke on the pitch because he's a lot more mobile than Kiefer Moore, I think Kiefer Moore is very much a substitute to bring on with 15 minutes to go in most situations for Bournemouth, like even if you're winning or losing, he's a good player to bring on in those circumstances, but he's not someone you want playing the vast majority of the game. So that didn't help them, I don't think. But and also the loss of Solanke, because he is a quality player. But yeah, it took them until the hour mark to start having a go, really, and even then Fabianski was rarely troubled. But yeah, West Ham, they did create the better chances. Both Neto in the first half and Mark Travers, his replacement in the second half, were both forced into quite a few saves. So yeah, West Ham did deserve the win in terms of overall play, but I just felt as though it was like neither goals probably shouldn't have counted, to be honest. But for West Ham, I've heard a lot recently about Thomas Souček not being as influential this season as he has been in previous 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know how long he's been there. I think it is probably. I think he had a half season to begin with, so this is probably technically his 4th season, but he's only really been there 3 years. So yeah, I was keeping an eye on Souček, and yeah, I can understand where a lot of people are coming from. West Ham are evolving into a lot more of a sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but a more possession style team. Like they've brought in Scamacca, who's very good at holding up the ball and bringing up other players into play. They've also brought Paqueta, who, yes, he is injured, but he's going to suit that sort of system. And Downs and Rice played really well in midfield. So yeah, it does feel as though Souček doesn't quite have the technical ability to fit in with what West Ham are trying to do at the moment. But I do think he's a useful player to have in your squad, just for like certain games where you need a player like that in midfield. But yeah, West Ham did win the game in the end, and it is a good result for them because Bournemouth have been quite good recently. But that is 2 losses in a row for Bournemouth, which is a little bit disappointing considering they went on a 6-game unbeaten run at the start of Gary O'Neill's time there. But yeah, you know, it is what you expect for Bournemouth, really. If they can finish mid-table, that'll be a good season for them. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.